Hello, Naveen. Good evening.
Yes, Rohit, very good evening. Good evening, everyone. Bharat, Jasmine, Priyanka Devi, and Govind. So, once again, a very good evening. It's already 7:05. So, let's have a casual talk for a couple of minutes and then I will start the session. So, comparing to the last 3 to 4 days in our place, especially in Hyderabad, today we felt like, the rain has come down a bit for half a day at least. Since after again it started to drizzle first and then it was downpour in some areas. So it was not bad comparing to last 3 or 4 days because the climate is not so good in all the parts of our country. And how is it your place? Anyone who could share their opinions on how you felt these past weeks since Monday, if you can say it as. So there are no rains in your area?
Yeah, hi, Naveen.
Yeah, hi, Rohit.
Okay, so from last 2 days, we have drizzling rain all time. But eventually today is quite heavy uh, rain we have from the since of morning. till now.
Okay. And how about, I mean, especially in our sessions, everybody is a working professional. And how you guys manage to show up to your work? Or is it, is something that your management has permitted for you to work from home?
Yeah, since it is working from home, like we're not facing much challenges. I think.
Good. People are blessed to work from home due to this rain. And people like me, who is supposed to for sure travel to office, for the daily routine that we do in our office, it is bit hectic for us to travel, especially if we are traveling by our own transportation. Getting stuck up in this traffic, especially if it is four-wheeler, that's okay. Even if you are showing up late, we can manage. But two-wheelers, my goodness, doesn't matter how much covered we go out, we'll be getting drenched one or the other part. That too with this heavy traffic in this rainy seasons. My God. Since 3 days, I was supposed to go at 9 o'clock, where I used to show up at 15 minutes before to my reporting time. That means 8:45, 8:40, I will be in my office. But because of this rain, 9:30, 9:40, 10:30 sometimes. You know what? My office is very near to my house. It's only 15 minutes, hardly. That too with heavy traffic only takes 15 minutes. And because of this rain, the roads are clogged. Everywhere there is all the drainage and the rainwater got mixed up. People are facing too much of difficulties to, to cross one particular part, which is a bridge, right? So it is a difficult task for us, but people who are working from home, I'm jealous of you guys. You are working from home, sitting in your house, enjoying your time and all, but yes, whatever the pros and cons are there, yes, it is for each and everything that we do in our daily life. So hopefully these rains, it come down in the coming days. Today it is somewhat good, and we hope, especially Hyderabad is right. So we hope that by tomorrow or by day after tomorrow, by Sunday most probably, it would be a bit relief for us, and especially household people, housewives, homemakers, mothers, wives, and all that. So they are a bit frustrated. Clothes are not getting dried up, and even for us who shows to office, right? So we are not getting enough attire to wear. Even if we go out, we are getting drenched and our clothes are getting wet. So hopefully everybody is doing fine in your respected areas. If you're traveling out, do definitely take care of yourself. All the time carry your jerkin, raincoat, umbrellas, whatever you are carrying out. And if you are traveling on two-wheelers, scooters especially, put all your valuable belongings in the boot space. If it is something like gear, uh, heavy vehicle like two-wheelers rather than scooters, right? So better you pack everything in sealed cover and put it in your backpack. That is best. And the thing that I do, especially in these seasons, right? And normally I don't do it. Only if it is raining heavily for 1 or 2 days, I do this. I mean, the kind of a tip that I can share with you guys, if you're starting from home to office, and if you sense that you are going to be late for the work, drop a message to your reporting manager or to your colleague to inform to someone else in your office. Pack everything in, say this thing, like, you're packing everything in a plastic or a polythene cover, and you're putting in your bag, so that you while you travel to your work, you will be with no tension. Because all of a sudden you get calls, your phone rings, you will be worried to who is the person who's calling me in this time, and it makes us so frustrated, and we take our anger on that person. If it is friend or anybody from house, we take our frustration on them. It is not good. If you know that you're going to be late, even if you're starting on time, just drop a message, call someone else, inform them, put everything in a sealed bag or polythene cover, put it in your bag, and just show it up to the office. Best way, right? So today it is 11. I think I can start my session. I hope everybody are able to see my screen. If you're able to see, just give
Yes,
a heads
Naveen.
up. Yep, great. Thank you. So today is our day 1. And today we'll be kind of, introducing ourselves to the English language. Yesterday we had a generic talk about ourselves, but today we are going to have an interaction between what is English, how to develop, what are the fundamentals in that, and how we can inculcate in our daily practices. Someone has raised their hand. Any question in between? No. Great. So welcome all once again. So what exactly the word English is, the phrases, the words, the adjectives, the verbs that you're seeing nearby this English word, right? Everything has covered it up, right? It says it's the language, it's a learning process, it's life, it's a process, it's a path, it's a joy, right? So everything, whatever the terms, whatever the meaning that we give when we hear this word English, everything is under this one particular word. Someone has joined. Yeah. Right. So before I move further, so if at all, if someone is asking you like what is English, how will you describe in your own words? Like, what are your viewpoints or what are your opinions? If someone asks you to tell about what is English, how will you respond? Anyone who can express?
English is the language.
Good. Whatever it comes to your mind whenever you hear this word, or if someone is asking, tell me something about English or what is English, whatever could be running through your mind right now, or whatever your opinions are, you are most welcome to express it very freely. There is nothing right and there is nothing wrong in telling your opinions, right? It's just I want to know your understanding when it comes to the initial part. Okay, so do not ever feel shy or don't hesitate. These two things which we said in the last class as well, isn't it? So don't ever feel that your answer is going to be wrong. There is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. This is a language where we are going to learn by expressing ourselves first. For that, we need to come out of our comfort zone. Do remember, guys, do not always stick to your comfort zone. You are going to lose so many opportunities, all the benefits that we can keep it more simple like that. You are going to lose everything, all the brownie points you're going to lose if you're going to stay in your comfort zone. You are going to break it. Once you shackle that, that comfort zone, you will see a lot of opportunities, all simplified opportunities to to enhance your language. Feel free to express. Do not worry about your answer because nobody is going to judge you here, neither me or others. Okay, feel free to express, because yesterday this is what I said, right? If you want to learn something, you need to express it first. Then only we can overcome our stage fear speaking in front of group. Okay, next, anybody who would like to express, or what are your views or opinions about what is English?
Yeah, Navin, English is a language actually majorly used to communicate English with people and express ourselves.
Good. Thank you, Bharat. Next, I think Mallesh was supposed to speak in between.
Yeah, English is a language. It is basically universal language where we can communicate each other then all over the world.
Good. Yes, it's a universal language. Wherever we go or to whichever part of the world we want to visit, the first mode of communication is English. Even if we don't know how to speak it fluently, but still we try to communicate with the natives, that too only in English, right? Very good. Anybody still? Right. So what do you know when you listen to the word English? And here is the answer. Anyone who could read it out for me? If you're able to see the screen, I want
Yeah.
someone to read it out. Yes, please.
Yeah, an essential skill for employability is English communication, and it is every job seeker's dream to have good communication skills. We understand this huge need in the market, and our vision is to make you the skill accessible and affordable and bring it at par.
Great. Thank you. So it is one of the most essential skills for you to have in this competitive world. Comparing to this present situation, way back around 20 or 30 years ago, there is drastic change. Now, each and every competitor, who is in this race, trying to get into this corporate world, getting a job, sustaining in that, surviving, everything is so tough if we are lacking in this particular skill, which is communicating in English. It's not that we don't know. It is just that we are not able to express how we feel it in our mind. It happens with everybody, even with me sometimes. So whenever I prepare for kind of seminars, I mean, this happened in my previous experience. Like, we used to mobilize the students for our training because I was working with an NGO, Tech Mahindra Foundation. Whenever we go to seminars to the colleges, right? So we as a team, me and my colleagues, we sit and we prepare a lot. But when it comes to speaking on the stage, seeing such a huge crowd, huge group of people, deans, lecturers, and all, sometimes I fumble and I mix up everything. The way I have prepared, everything is mixed up and messed up. Because sometimes, we start to think of the negative more. It doesn't matter how good enough you're prepared to yourself, just one small distraction can mess up everything. Whereas coming to this part, this language, this English has become such a vital skill for each and everyone in this session. Whether you are a housewife, job seeker, already an employee, looking for an promotion, looking for a career growth, this is going to help you in some of the other aspects. For that, now we have come here just to enhance our skills, right? Yesterday, the way we have introduced, everybody said that I don't know English, I joined. Nobody said like this. The most common answer from you, and moreover, I didn't even ask why did you join the session. You yourself has expressed it. That means it shows that you're seriously intended to learn something from this particular session. And the common word that I got from you all is to enhance or to improve. Nobody, yesterday there were around 20 plus people. Nobody said that, I'm weak in English. Nobody said that I don't know English or I can't speak English. It was like, I want to improve, I want to enhance. I already can speak, but I am lacking somewhere and I want to develop that. Here, you are almost 50% good at your confidence. The remaining 50% should be in your actions. You already started to believe yourself, keep it going. Now it is time for you to act how we are going to learn in this session. Isn't it? So the most easiest way to understand what exactly English is, people can give a number of definitions, n number of definitions about what is English. Universal language, global language, very important element, means mode of communication wherever we go in the universe. The first spoken language with the others is English. We can give a lot of definitions, but before that, try understanding what exactly English is. It is just a combination of the 26 letters which we have studied since our childhood, since kindergarten. We studied it. Right? So is there anybody in the session who says that I don't know letters, alphabets? We know what is A. We know what comes after A. We know what is the ninth letter. We know what is the last letter of the alphabet. Even if someone is waking you up in the middle of the night and asking you to say all the 26 letters, without second thought, you will be saying it. Right? And the English is all about this 26 letters, which we use to form or which we use to express our feelings. We don't use numbers, we don't use symbols, we don't use any special characters. We just speak with the use of these 26 letters and spell out the word English, English. We know these 26 letters, but sometimes we lack putting all together according to our feelings. Whatever we want to express, we sometimes fumble in between to gather the exact sentence. Isn't it? So do not worry about it. Here, through regular and consistent practice, we are going to do it. Right? And also, English is the first mostly and widely spoken language across the world. This is the universal fact. Right? And there are a lot of facts about English, but here are few where we can, or if you might be listening it for the first time. Right? So if I ask you people, what are the top 3 languages spoken in the world? Can anybody say what are the 3 languages? According to the order, what is the first, what is the second, what is the third?
Hello,
Yes.
hello, Mr. Navin Garu.
Yes, Venkat Reddy garu.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
First language English, second language Chinese, and third language Telugu. Who are largest?
Good. Good try.
Huh?
Anybody? Any try? Wild guess at least. Yes, Amol?
Hello,
Yeah, yes.
may I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
First language is English, second Chinese, and third is Hindi.
Okay. So the first 2 languages said by Amol and Venkat Reddy garu, first 2 are correct. You are missing out the third one.
Spanish.
Exactly, Spanish. But when we list this top 3, right? English is not in the first place.
Okay.
Chinese, English, and Spanish. It could be in 2 different ways why English is not in first. That is this particular statement. English is the largest language in the world, right? If English will be in second place, if we count both native and non-native speakers of China, because
Yeah.
in China there are different kind of Chinese languages. That is what we call Mandarin Chinese. All different sort of Chinese language together is called as Mandarin. Okay, so when we compare this Mandarin Chinese, English will be in second place. If we say only Chinese, not Mandarin, only Chinese language, then English will be in the first place, second will be the Chinese, third will be the Spanish. Right? So this is what the order of the top 3 languages. And another interesting fact, I hope everybody has read by this time. We all know that America is such a greatest country, right? And since when do you know that, or what age are you now to know that America has no official language? But people, they speak majority of the language in English, right? We think that English is their own official language, but US, United States of America, has no official language. Did any of your teachers from your childhood have said this? We don't know, because it is a perception, because we feel that English is spoken, the only language in US we feel that it is their official language. No, US has no official language. And everybody who is working, right, working professionals, you do work in your laptops or PCs given by the given by your company, or if you're working your own laptop or in your mobile, right? So can anybody say what is the percentage of the language in these particular devices, or the information that is stored in computers, PCs, or in our devices? What is the percentage of English? It is 80%. 80% of the information which is in the electronic devices are in English. There are a lot of facts that we can think about or we can discuss about English, but I have mentioned only a couple of, so that the major thing that we can hear for the very first time. And he is the person, if you're reading the screen, Lord T.B. Macaulay. The way we pronounce his name is Macaulay, right? So he was the person who introduced English to our Indian education system. If you are hearing to the first time, you have learned some new thing. The person who introduced English during the British rule in India, this is the person. He is the person who has introduced English to our education in India. Before that, there was no English, it was only Sanskrit. And it has a severe impact on those days when when English was introduced in our country and in our education system. And one thing I want to remind here, so during the British rule, right, people who are richest, I mean rich people in our country, Indian rich people, right? So speaking English has brought such a significant impact that it is treated that only rich people should talk English, not the average, not the poor. This difference was there during the British rule. English is only for the rich people, elite people. Only they are supposed to speak in English. If any lower grade community people are speaking, they were punished. This was, in those days. And the history of alphabet, it is not as of, in today's generation that we are learning ABCDs, right? In ancient days, the alphabets were different. Every part of this universe has developed according to their traditions and culture. It is not this particular thing, because phonetics are the first thing. Through phonics only, alphabets, this ABC that we are learning today, has evolved. There is separate history for this. And yes, the most important thing, language barrier. So Roshita, something to say or any question?
No, accidentally that's good.
Okay, good. So now we have known about English. I mean, this particular slide for me is to motivate and to take out your fear. People who are, for housewives and who are struggling in their work culture, this is to motivate you people all the time. Think whenever you are practicing English and you're feeling difficult, or if you feel that you are demotivated, think of this particular statement. It is just a combination of these 26 letters. All the time keep in mind, and all the time stay positive. Okay, and there's come to the next part, barriers. So before I discuss, so what are your barriers? I do believe that everybody in the session is trying their best to enhance their English speaking skills. Okay, and what are your barriers? Barriers in the sense, what are your difficulties? What are your obstacles that you feel that it is stopping you? In simple terms, excuses. So what are your excuses to learn English? You can say that, Naveen, I'm trying every day, but this is what I'm stucking up, or this is what it is very difficult for me, right? So if there are something like that, you can share it now. So everybody is feeling very comfort when they are practicing their respective places, at your home, with your friends, or at your workplace. No difficulties at all?
Naveen,
Yes, Rohit.
okay, so vocabulary one is difficulty for me. So when I try to be, because I can able to try simple word definitely, but when we are going to converse more long conversation, right? That time the
Okay.
vocabulary will place the
Okay. So
difficult.
your hurdle is vocabulary, finding, kind of more
Finding
fancy
the
word.
exactly word, not a fancy word, just express my thought in that phrase of English. Like
Okay,
so,
got it. Vocabulary. Yes, Amol?
I also have same problem. When I communicate in English, I forgot what to speak, which words at the time I use for
So while
best.
speaking, sometimes we tend to, to understand what exactly the word we should use, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
don't remember the specific word at that time. After some time, I remembered that word, but it is very lately.
Okay. By the time the conversation would have
And
ended.
at the moment of conversation, I don't remember the specific words.
Okay. Okay. I want everybody to give their opinions about these struggles that you're facing. Yes, Venkatreddy garu?
Naveen garu, I work in pharma industry.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Present I'm working as a senior manager in production department in the pharma industry, API, active pharma liquids. But my
Okay.
major problem also how to customer ads are there. How to do what to do? And they tell me answer is there. Answer also I know, but expressions is a I don't know.
Oh,
Some
okay. Expressing.
expressing is a but US market, US artists is coming there, Japanese and Australian. So many artists are come there in our plant. But expressions are fearing what to do, what not to do. I don't know. I
Okay.
hmm?
Got it. Got it. I understood it.
No.
Good vocabulary, right words, expressing exactly how we feel.
Yeah, actually, total work area also I know it total top to bottom also how to do, what to do, why are you planning and safety total entire work area is I know every total language local language, but expect I
I understood it, sir. So you know it in your mother tongue, but when you are trying to put it in English, you are unable to do it, right?
yeah.
Got
This
it.
is a major problem. Actually, English minimum 30% English I know. So present I am a general manager, but I am a backlog also only my minus point. My career backlog is only.
Okay. Got it. Anybody else who want to share their things?
Yeah, hello, Naveen.
Oh, yes, Karthik.
Yeah, so I also have the same problem, like speaking correct vocabulary. I can't speak with others like correct pronunciation of the English, and also have the writing skill problem, like when communicating through a mail or anything, I can't
Okay.
properly use the correct vocabulary.
So
That's the issue, and also
Mhm.
correct sentence formation also I didn't get it.
Okay. Got it. So by this, can I assume?
పోస్ట్
Yes, Roshita.
కావాలేదంటేనే ఒకలా ఉంది కోడ్ చేయకపోతే ఓకే వీ కెన్ యాక్సెప్ట్
కోడ్ దొరకలేదా చెప్పుకోవడానికి ఉంటది అంతే కదా.
Yes, Roshita. Okay. So, yes, Bharat. Okay. So, can I assume that whoever is present in today's session, right? So, your obstacles, the things that you are feeling, those are difficult things that are stopping you from expressing is kind of, words. I mean, you are not able to, take out the right word about your expression. Second thing, able to form correct sentence at the time of conversing with the others. When it comes to writing communication, that means written communication, you're not able to put your thoughts together, how exactly you feel. The vocabulary, I mean, the words, whatever it could be. It could be a general topic, or if it is something that you're talking to your friends or to your family members, the situation can be anything, but you're not able to take up the right words, right? And also,
Yeah.
this might include your grammar as well, right? So if whenever you say that you're not able to take up the right word or to express, it is not that something you really don't know about it. You know it, but you might be thinking of the exact word of, it could be an opposite word, or it could be, it could be not the right situation to use it, or it could be in the past tense, or it could be in some other tense. You know the word, but you know the forms of the word. That word can be used in many different ways. Because of that, you are not able to put it exactly. That is where the grammar is going to play a key role for you to understand how to, I mean, especially when we talk about tenses, right? So how to speak, when to speak, how to form a question, right? So yesterday I also said these three things. Once you understand these three things, these sort of excuses, these sort of difficulties, you are not going to face it, right? So as a matter of fact, let us see what exactly our hurdles. Why do we feel that, I am not able to speak English, I'm not able to use the correct word, the things that we've discussed now, right? So it is because these are the things. We call it as language barriers. Okay. Instead of saying difficulties in our English language, we say them as barrier. So these are our reasons, because sometimes we feel or we see people using good vocabulary, which is advanced ones, and we never had a familiarity for public speaking. This one, we never spoke in front of public. If anybody is having that experience, well and good, try to improve it more. We'll be discussing about that as well in our coming days. People are very new for this public speaking, right? So if it is the first time for you, this could be one of the reasons. Formal writing and grammar, even though if you have studied since our childhood, we never had a good practice of this writing part, and we only paid attention to grammar part, but we never had a chance to use it. It's not our
Yes.
fault, it is just because we never had a chance to use our grammar. Because since till this time, we were talking with our friends, with our homies, with our colleagues, with, in our work culture, in our native language, in our mother tongue we were talking. Even in writing part, even if you were learning something, if you're doing your work, we never got good enough chance to write in English. That is where these writing skills were lacking in our language skills, right? Next is linguistic variations. Even if you are good at speaking, right, sometimes you unconsciously you degraded yourself because you were surrounded with such a good people who had, who has good speaking skills and good accent. People speak British English, people speak with American accent. Because of that, we never stepped out in front of them speaking our very own English. We were shy, we were a bit hesitant, right? And the remaining three skills, listening, reading, and speaking, we never paid attention to this listening part. That means listening English songs, whatever the podcast, the songs, or any articles if someone is reading, especially in our schooling days, educational life, we never paid that good attention. Right? Reading, we did it. Reading part, we did it absolutely, but only for the sake of academic marks. If I'm wrong, please correct me. This reading part, only to get a good marks or to pass an exam, we did this. Reading all the subjects in English. And once we are out of our educational life, we never turned back and we never appreciated our, the way we have learned English. Even I. And speaking, we never had a chance. The reason why I'm using this word never, because there was time for us to practice it, but because of our daily routine, our friends, we used to enjoy in our schooling days, college days, we used to bunk our colleges, to go to movies. We did everything. That everything was for an entertainment, and everything was in our native aspect. After this session, you take your time, sit for yourself, think about your school life, school and college life. What were the chances for you to improve your language, and what the most have you done? There were chances, but we never paid that good attention. And the main reason, the lack of exposure to this language. Only in English classes, we were, it was by force that we are sat and we were learning English. Remaining subjects, even those were taught in English. Your physics, chemistry, biology, zoology, social, everything was in English. But still, we were good at understanding that. Apart from English, people who are toppers, rather than saying toppers, people who are quick learners. For them, it could be easy. But for us, we were good at social. Some of you were good at mathematics. Some of you might be good at another subject. But everything was in English, apart from languages, in Hindi and Telugu and Sanskrit. Rest of all the subjects were taught in English. But why were you good at physics? Why were you good at science? Why were you good at social, but not in English? Have a question for ourselves? We never did it. English was such a subject for us that, it was giving a full of exposure throughout our educational life. But still, today here we are for learning English, which we were having a good chance in our days to improve. It could be some reasons, and major reason could be that you have studied your schooling in your mother tongue, Hindi medium, Urdu medium, Telugu medium. People would have studied entirely in their native medium, or some of you might have shifted in between. Half of the schooling in native medium and the remaining half in English medium. This is one of the major drawbacks. But still, there are people who did it for sure and are succeeded till date. Okay, so these are the major language barriers that I have seen since my career. So if you are falling for any of these particular barriers, time for you to today to come out of it and to start a regular practice, right? So in continuation to that, right? So if we say that lack of exposure to formal language, these 4 skills are the key fundamentals. I said it, I know, a kind of a title yesterday, but today, here it is. Can anyone read for me? Anybody who can read it? Yes, Karthik.
Yeah, Naveen. Yeah. It is the 4 skills of language learning, a set of 4 capabilities that allow an individual to comprehend and produce spoken language for proper and effective interpersonal communication. These skills are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. in the context of the first language acquisition, the four skills are most often acquired in the order of listening first, then speaking, then possibly reading and writing.
Thank you, Karthik. So these are the 4 skills that you are going to focus in your learning sessions, right? So if this word acquisition, right? So if this word acquisition is new for you, do not worry. If you can make a note of it, if it is new for you, as I told, right, you can make a habit of writing a diary or something for your new words. Acquisition in the sense gaining, right? So in order to gain or to progress your learning skill, this LSRW is the best option and only option. And why it is said as a LSRW but not LRWS? First, we listen. Accordingly, we try to action it back. That means responding or speaking. Then it is for writing and reading. If you are able to listen, you will be for sure will be able to respond back. If you're responding, then you need to write it. Sorry, you need to read it. Okay. If the person is saying, or if the person is reading out something to you, you will be listening to that. And accordingly, you will be responding back. And if the same content is given to you, you need to be in a position to read it and then write it. Whatever you understood from the speaking, you need to be in a position to write it. This is a order of this LSRW, right? So how we can improve these 4 skills, LSRW, right? So you can elevate your practice. So if you are already practicing it, I really appreciate your efforts. And here today, you're going to understand how we can practice in our everyday life. Because yesterday, I got to know that majority of you are working professionals. Most of the day you will be in your work culture, right? And also, I also said it, there are a lot of sources that you can do even in your workplace or in your free time, right? So by following any of these tips, you can start a practice today itself. First is start with the basics. If you're having your pen and paper notepad, you can make a note of it. Start with basics. Speak in English wherever and whenever possible. The first is the basics. The first is speak in English whenever and wherever possible, because speaking English opportunity, we are not going to get it. Nobody is giving an opportunity to speak in English. We need to speak everywhere possible. Whatever the possiblest ways, we need to speak. Okay. Second thing, basic greetings and introductions. If you are making a note of it, write this as well. Basic greeting and introductions. That means learn common greetings. Everybody is aware of it. We say hi, hello, good morning, good evening, right? So that is greetings and introduction. Whenever you're meeting a new person for the first time, say nice to meet you. Okay, and say your name. Nice to meet you. This is Naveen. So that the opposite person also says nice to meet you too, and he or she will say their name. Okay, this is the second one. Third one, build a simple vocabulary. Like you said that, vocabulary is one of the obstacles for you. Try building simple vocabulary. That means start with everyday words. That means whatever the daily routine that you do, when the best that I could give as an example is take some part of your house, let's say the kitchen. Okay. What are the words that you can use for this particular aspect? Kitchen terminology or the vocabulary used for kitchen, right? So the spoons that we use for having rice on our plate, right? It has a name. The roller that we do chapatis, right? It also has a name. There are a lot of words that we see every day, but we don't know the words of it. The kitchen items. After your session today, if you want to give a try, go to your kitchen, see what are the things that you know in English and you don't know it. Try researching for that. Okay. And if you have started to maintain a notes for your vocabulary as a daily journal or diary kind of thing, it is best, and you can make a note of the new words that you learn. You may ask, Navin, what is the use if I learn about this kitchen vocabulary? Whenever you're sitting with your family members, you can ask, or you can say to your family that this is what it is called in English, right? And fourth one, understand basic sentence structure. This we will be learning in the coming classes, types of sentences. Okay. And next, start reading easy text. Whether you want to choose book, newspaper, or any article that you want to read in internet, it's up to you. But choose a easiest one, the text or the paragraph that is very easy to read and understand. Choose that. Okay. Basic grammar. The next is grammar. As I said yesterday, 7 tenses which are simplified. We will be learning it. And all the time, engage yourself in simple conversations, either with your family members, with your kids, with your wife, or with your husband, or with your house members, or with your colleagues, best friends in your workplace who supports you to learn English, right? All the time, try to engage yourself in simple conversations. Like, let's say that you have met your best friend in your workplace at the lunchtime. Since morning, you saw him, but you never had a conversation. You did not speak to him since morning, and you have met him at the lunchtime. Try speaking English. Ask him how was the day. And just because you were busy, you both did not get time to talk to each other. So ask him about how the work is going on. What are the new news? What are the recent information that that the company is having? All simple conversations. If it is home, if you're a housemaker, you can ask your husband, or if you have your kids, once they are back from school, talk in English. How was your school today? Once they come home, say, welcome back. Offer them something like, do you want to have tea, coffee? Or you can ask your kids, do you want some snacks? Simple sentences, a simple conversation that you can have with your beloved ones, right? And the last is practice consistently. Do not take it, this is so easy for me to do. I can talk with my friends, very simple English, simple conversations. Once you're comfortable speaking regularly, take the practice a step ahead. Okay. So have a practice constantly. Dedicate some time every day to practice English. Even if it is for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, all the time, have some time for yourself dedicatedly to learn English. Do not have any sort of works for you in this particular time. Let's say that from morning 10 to 11 or 10 to 10:30, you are for that half an hour of time is to learn English. You need to learn. You can do whatever you want to do in that 30 minutes to learn English, whether you want to sing songs, whether you want, but do not watch anything, guys. If you've dedicated 30 minutes, don't go for watching anything, because it will be for a sake of entertainment. If you are putting your efforts while researching, taking books, reading out loud, that is a good progress that you can have. Okay, so this is first starting with the basics. Next, use language learning apps. In our Play Store, in Google, and in internet, you have lot of learning apps. Okay, so all the time try figuring out the good app that helps beginners. That means people who are trying to enhance their speaking skills, right? That is what we call beginners. Okay, so these apps, these language learning apps are very easy for you to build your communication. Okay, so whatever the apps that we have, you can Google, or I think I know some apps, I guess. Wait, let me think. Think I'm remembering it. Okay, fine. I skipped off my mind, but if I had it, I would have definitely shared with you guys. Right. So next is book reading. So this is one of the easiest thing that you can do at your home working, or at your workplace doing your work. You can start reading in your free time. How we can do that? Right. So you can take a storybooks. Do not feel shy carrying storybooks to your work culture. No, it is not a bad thing. It is for your benefit. Right. So do carry a easy and simple storybooks wherever you go. If you are a working professional, if you are a house maker, that means housewives, while doing your house chores, you can have a book open and you can read and do your work. Okay, so but the most important thing is you should never stop reading. Reading helps you to improve your vocabulary, also the fluency, because now though we are speaking with our mother tongue influence, and at the each of every word we use or we drag our sound, right? So these are called as fillers. In order to avoid it, having a constant reading, it helps us to avoid these fillers. Okay, so storybooks, if you don't want to buy any storybooks, once your kids are home, take out their storybooks or English textbooks, as I said yesterday, or else you can purchase some good storybooks for yourself and for your kids too, so that once they're done with their school homework, you all can sit together and read out loud and can tell each other. You can, ask your kids to read out the story, you listen, and you can try to express it back, whatever you have understood, right? So this really helps. And next, practice speaking. How we can practice speaking is, anybody who can say if you are already doing it? How to improve our speaking, or what are the practices that we can do at our leisure time for to improve our speaking? Okay. Fine. So I have a couple of things for this particular thing. Practice speaking. Okay, so speak in English even if you're talking to yourself or talking to your kids or talking to your home people, household people, right? So you can speak to them in English, small things. Okay, and practice pronouncing words and phrases, because in our daily conversations, excuse me, in our daily conversations that we have, right? So once we are comfortable speaking with our people very good, as I said, that you are going to take it a step ahead, which builds your confidence. You are going to learn new words, right? So you will be you will be thriving to figure out the new words. Okay, so whenever you feel difficulty to understand the new words or to pronounce it, go to Google, use the translation option, try to figure out the pronunciation and try to use it in your everyday life. Okay, and second thing, use English in your meetings wherever you go for a meeting. I mean, not in public meeting or not in official meeting. casual meeting between friends or between house members. Try to bring in English, or set particular time that in your house it should be that everybody should speak in English, especially father and kids. At the time of dinner, you all can put your phones aside, turn off the TV, and everybody start discussing about how the day went. For kids, how the school was today, and for wife, how the day was today. And you can start expressing how it went for you, because hardly we'll be having 15 to 20 minutes of dinner. In these 20 minutes, you people can share everybody views, and you can literally try to learn something from each other. This really helps. You do not feel shy, you don't hesitate, and also it would be a best practice for your kids. If you are having school going kids, it will help them to build their communication as well. Try to set at least 20 minutes of time whenever all family members meet together, whatever the situation or whatever the scenario is. It could be dinner, it could be morning time breakfast, or if you are going out for any sort of vacation or picnic or kind of excursion, you all can start speaking in English. Okay. And also challenges and playing quizzes. In the newspapers, we get these crosswords or we get the puzzles, right? So you can spare your time playing that. In the newspapers, we do get, especially in English newspapers, you can play those crossword puzzles. Statements will be given. You need to figure out what's the exact word for that. This is another way to improve or to learn new words, right? So also, and another thing, have a partnership. Like in cricket, how crucial the partnership is, right? So in the very same way, you need to have a constant partnership with the person who is supporting you and speaking English with you. It could be a kids, it could be a colleague, a best friend, or anybody at your convenient place. Whoever it is, try having a constant partnership with that particular person. Do not lose your hope, because the person is going to help you in all the ways. If you're lacking somewhere, or if you're not able to express it correctly, you can ask the person, like, this is what I feel in my mind, how to take it out exactly. Okay. Practice your speaking at your convenient time. And the last is setting achievable goals, and all the time be patient and consistent, right? So you may ask, Naveen, goals is something which is not related to language learning. How we can have it? How we can set achievable goals, right? So when it comes to learning, you should all the time have a specific goals in your mind. Let's say, the first thing that you need to do is understand your level of communication. So where exactly I'm standing? Am I able to speak with others, or I'm able to understand what the other person is saying without any difficulty, but not able to express it, or not able to frame a correct sentence sometimes? I am speaking English, but I'm not able to use correct sentence sometimes. First, assume your level of English, then be very specific. If you say that I'm not able to, speak sometimes good sentence, I can speak English, I'm speaking good English, but sometimes I'm not able to speak the right words or right sentences. That means you are going to improve in this particular aspect. Be very specific about where exactly you are lacking, or what is the first component that you want to improve, whether speaking, whether listening, reading, or writing. Okay. And don't have blunt goals. That means kind of, for a better example, I can say, I want to improve English. This is not an achievable goal, because improve English is not something is going to happen within a night. It is a constant practice, and it takes time, right? So all the time be very specific and have time limits. Let's say that today my goal is to have a conversation for at least 15 minutes with my family. Okay, this is your goal which you can achieve. Talk in English, whether you are speaking wrong, right, or whatever, try to communicate first. This 15 minutes you have dedicated, and this is your target for these 15 minutes. Okay, or else if you're a working professional, have some goals set at your workplace. Today, about this particular project, I want to speak with my friend in English, or else I want to express or I want to tell about this project to my friend in English. Right, so these sort of achievable goals you need to set in your daily life. Small goals. Don't go for highest point. Start a step-by-step procedure. Okay, and create a study plan. Even though if you're a working professional, you try having a study plan. Okay, so that means once you are home, that means after your office, once you go home, try having a kind of plan for at least for hour, for 60 minutes. What can you do to improve your English? Whether you want to talk to your family members, you want to discuss about something, right? About your daily life, about what exactly happened or what you are going to do tomorrow. Or if you're planning for a vacation or a weekend out. Okay, so try discussing about that. Create a study plan, develop a study plan, that what do we say, that literally helps you to stay focused. Once you are home, you cannot give time to thinking about your office again. It is for your personal benefit, right? So all the time keep the efforts going on. Okay, whenever you are successing in your goals, that means if you have achieved your goal, try celebrating it with your family members. Yes, you can do that. And next thing you need to do is monitor your progress. Let's say that this entire 1 week you want to speak to your family in your dinner time only in English. This is your weekly target. So once you are done for a week, monitor your progress. Monday, what was your speaking level? Tuesday, how you have included in that conversation? The next day, were you able to speak freely with your family members? Try measuring it every day. What is the progress that you're showing? And the last, seek support. Go for an help if needed. Whether you go for an internet to search something or whether you will be asking someone else to explain it about this particular expression, how to say it in English, you can do that. Seek help if necessary. Okay, but last not the least, stay positive, because efforts you're putting, there are chances that we might fail. For sure we will fail sometimes, but we need to be very positive. And few additional tips that I can give for you all. Yesterday I have said it light, but today I've come with you guys today showing it. Extra tips: associate with the person who speaks good English. Make a note of new word, whether you're learning, whether you've come across somewhere reading a storybook or reading an article or reading newspaper, or if someone at your workplace is speaking and if it is a new word, don't feel shy to ask what is that word. Make a note of it, go to Google, search the meaning, try using it in your language. In your language, not mother tongue, but in your daily speaking English, try using those new words. Okay, also have a diary of whatever the practices that you're doing. This will be helping you to refer. Sometimes all of a sudden, if you forget that word, and if you're not having this habit, you will be scratching your head. You will be literally thinking about what is that word. Okay, so don't ever lose this habit. Try maintaining a notes, especially for this vocabulary. Whenever you are missing out, whenever you are forgetting, you can take that notes out, you can refer, because you will be writing the new word, the meaning, and the usage. Okay, and next is all the time create English speaking environment. The best and the possiblest way is home, in your home. Times when all family members sit together, whether it is for watching TV, for dinner, or as discussing something, any scenario where all family members sit together, create English speaking environment. Okay. And what are the practices that you're doing to have a track of it? Have a journal. That means a special separate diary for you to have your progress. Day 1 or for a week, what were you doing and what is your progress? After a week, what is your confidence level? Are you communicating freely without strucking in between? Or are you taking too much of gap between sentence to sentence? Right? So this sort of progress you can track for yourself. One small notes to have this English vocabulary, the words, meaning and the usage. Second, a diary for you to track your everyday progress. Right? So this is all for today's session, and I wish everybody a happy learning throughout the session. Whoever has a doubt, whoever is stuck up somewhere, don't be demotivated. There are a lot of sources available for us to improve our language. One, these sessions. Second, your workplace or your home. Right? Small practices will give you such a good results. But as I said yesterday, don't hesitate. Don't feel shy to ask if something you don't know, whether if it is your boss or your junior or or could be your colleague. If they have spoken something which you did not understand, ask them. A way of learning, right? So this is how we will be learning in our day-to-day life. Okay, so don't ever buy something to learn. Small storybooks, you can present it to your kids on their birthdays, or it could be for you to gain knowledge. Small simple practices that is so convenient and comfortable for us. If we are going for a higher level, definitely we are not going to pay good interest, because since this year beginning, I previously had a reading habit, reading novels and stories. I have 8 books that I purchased in the month of February, and I finished one particular book, that too only 3 chapters. And the book's name is Heart Bones. Helen Cooper is the author. Heart Bones, it's a novel, the relationship between father and a daughter, right? So father gets second married, it's some other state, whereas this main character in the story, she will be with her mother, who is addicted to drugs, who doesn't work at all. One day her mother dies all of a sudden, and she goes to her father, who lives in Texas, whom she never saw, never met. Only at the month end, the father sent some money for the daughter's education. She barely saw her father for twice or thrice. Since then, she doesn't know what her father is doing, where he is living. All of a sudden, when she sees her that that her mother has died, she goes to Texas to live with her father. From there, the actual story starts. And it's been Feb, March, April, May, June, July. 6 months. I finished only 43 pages. This is what happens if we take our expectations to a higher level. If you buy storybooks, you will be gaining some knowledge. Also, even you can tell stories to your relative. I mean, whenever you're gathering for any functions, right? You can share your knowledge. You can tell small kids stories in English. You can gather such a huge, or else you can create some English speaking environment, especially when you gather in functions or in occasions with your family and relatives, right? Small kids, they pay a lot of interest. That is how we can create English speaking environment. And the rest is all up to you guys. What sort of books you want to purchase, you can, or if you want to go to Google and go for e-books, electronic books, you can. If you want to study stories online, right? Yes, I remembered it. Guys, if you want to study stories, small stories in online, go for Pratham Books. After the session, go to Google, type Pratham Story Books. You will get some portal. There you will be finding small stories, 6 pages, 7 pages stories. There will be images, there will be a nice English and neat vocabulary. You will find interesting. Okay, so this is all for today's session. So before wind up, any questions to ask or anything to say, you're most welcome. If not, you can directly say, Naveen, we are good to wind up the session. Anything, guys? Are we good to wind up the session?
Yes, Naveen.
Yep. Thank you, Rohit. So with this, let us conclude for today's session. I wish everybody a happy night and take care of yourselves. Some parts of our country, the rain has come down, and some parts it is still the worst conditions, right? So do take care if you're stepping out of your home, especially employees. All the time, take care of yourself because someone is waiting for you. We have a family. At the evening time, we need to show up ourselves to the family. We should have a good time, right? So very happy night, and I wish everybody a happy weekend. Tomorrow is Saturday. If anybody is having week off, yes, have a good and joyous week off, right? So good night, guys. Let's catch in tomorrow's session.
Good night, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good night, Naveen.
Thank you, Manish Sharma.
Good night.
Bye all.
Thank you, sir, and good night.
Thank you. Thank you.